Learning is not just reciting. It's challenging, progressive, collective, it's independent and it's collaborative. It's creative.
It's feeling included, accepted. My people, my passions, brought together in one place. It's discussing, connecting, uniting, enjoying the loud, but appreciating the quiet.
It's never feeling discouraged and always feeling acknowledged, supported when you need it.
It's diversifying and unifying. It's friendship founding and opportunity opening. It's guidance and it's preparation. It's giving you what you need to know for where you want to go. Above all, it's belonging. Belonging to a community, a family. Firm values at its heart and a beginning for your journey to start.
I'm here with the School of Engineering and Digital Arts to showcase everything that you need to know about studying here. So we'll be talking to lecturers and students over the next hour or so to get a feel of what the course is like as well as what the campus is like here at the University of Kent. And just to run you through what this virtual open day entails, we'll have some presentations to guide you through the school, and we'll also be asking your questions to our expert panel. We'll talk about digital media, engineering, student life, as well as employability. So if you have any questions throughout the programme, you can get in touch. You can comment on the YouTube stream or mention us on Twitter, and we'll do our very best to get through those questions and put them to our panel as soon as possible. So we really want you to get involved throughout this stream. And to get us started, I'm pleased to introduce Professor Fazlin Daravi, Dr. Richard Guest and Dr. Huling Zhu. Thank you very much for joining us this afternoon. So Fazlin, tell us a little bit about what we can expect from today's Virtual Open Day.
Right. So today we hope you get an idea about our school and university, and in particular learn more about our postgraduate programs, both taught programs and research programs. Get a feeling for the facilities we have here and also the environment in which you study, both in terms of the location and also the school and university. That's very important, to be in the right environment that would suit you. But perhaps most importantly, we hope you get a feeling for our students' experience of what it is like to be here studying for a postgraduate degree.
And tell us a little bit more about the school itself.
Okay, let me start by where we are. So we are in the city of Canterbury. The school and university is situated on a hill overlooking this historic and beautiful city. And Canterbury is in the province of Kent. Although it's a small town and very pretty, we are not far away from London, so you can get to London in less than an hour on the high-speed train. We are very close to continental Europe, so that's also not very far to get to with Eurostar. So in terms of location, it's an ideal location to be in. The city is very student-friendly and very safe. We've been here as a school for more than 50 years. We started about 50 years ago as an electronics laboratory. That was the focus of our work at that time. And electronics has become a foundation for most of what we do these days. We all have mobile phones. The technology that carries our signal now to our audience is all based on electronics. But gradually over the years, we expanded the range of things we do. We have a lot of educational provision now in digital media and biomedical engineering, and soon we will have mechanical engineering at the university. But focusing on our postgraduate provision is organized around 3 subject areas: the communications area, instrumentation and control, and intelligent interactions. These are our 3 areas. And hopefully, as you go through the Virtual Open Day with us, colleagues will introduce each one of these areas, and you get a feeling for the provision and the facilities and all of those things. The other thing I wanted to kind of point out in our presentation today is our educational approach. Studying for a postgraduate degree is quite challenging because in our taught programs we want to bring you to the state of the art. In our research programs we want you to contribute to knowledge. So all of this is very demanding. So you need to be very motivated, and at the same time we are going to give you all the opportunities you need to be challenged and to go forward. So expect a challenging and supportive environment when you come here. We also want you to be prepared for the world of work. With our PGT programs, you have a great employability potential. And with our PGR programs, you can contribute to knowledge. As we go forward, you see some of the panelists who are now academic staff. They have themselves been our PGT taught programs or research program students as we go forward. So we hope that you get find out about their experience. And all in all, we are a very friendly and supportive environment, and we hope you get a sense of that as you go through our presentations.
Fantastic. So Richard, I'm going to move on to you. Can you tell us a bit more about destinations of your students?
Our students go into a wide range of jobs and careers after they finish their courses here at Kent and EDA. I think it's clearly undertaking a postgraduate course, one of the primary drivers for that is to increase your employability skills and your job prospects. And before we look at where our students actually go, I think it's very important to note that we do actually embed employability within our courses. So both in terms of expert speakers coming in throughout the whole range of our courses that we do, but also the help that the university gives in terms of CVs, interview practice. And so that is absolutely vital. And so it puts our students on a very, very good grounding for when they actually come and work or try to attempt to get a job after they finish their course. It's worthwhile just mentioning as well that if people are here as on an international visa, study visa, the current situation is that they can actually stay on and get a search for a job under the terms of their visa for 2 years afterwards. That's subject to change, and it's worthwhile checking with the Home Office regulations at the time, but that is the situation at the moment. If we look at the kind of range of jobs that our students actually move into, a whole range of things. Some take the academic route, some very much take the route that they want to stay on and do further research, or they will stay on in higher education. Others go into a whole range of things, like issues to do with they work as design engineers, or work in terms of research and development, software development, a whole range of things to do with engineering. But obviously in digital arts, as you'll hear later on, a lot of our students go and work as special effects designers, web designers, that's another aspect. So a whole range of different type of activities that people move into, as well as things like data analysis and financial planning.
Fantastic. And can you tell us a little bit more about what students think of this school?
Well, they like us. I think that's the short answer. Nationally, we have a series of surveys, which are done, one called the PRES and one called the PTES, which are for research and taught programs. And they're done externally to the university, so an organisation will actually poll all of our students and ask them general questions about what they thought about their course. And they are very satisfied. Our students really like what we teach. Overall, we're kind of around the kind of 90% satisfaction, which is very, very good for the courses. So they really, really appreciate the kind of courses and the educational opportunities that we offer them.
If I could just add one thing, most of our engineering postgraduate taught courses are also accredited by the Institution of Engineering and Technology, IET. This is important for some people in terms of career prospects, and they have been accrediting our courses, undergraduate courses, for years. That's incredible.
It's a fast track to becoming a chartered engineer, basically. So.
Fantastic. And Helen, I'll come to you now. Can you tell us a bit more about your role?
Okay, yes, sure. Before I explain my role, because I'm the postgraduate admission officer in our school, so before I explain my role, I would like to introduce our university admission process a bit. Yeah. So I would like to divide it into 3 stages. So the first one would be for any applicant, once they submit their applications through our university application portal. So through the portal, the application will be received by our university admission team, and they will check whether all the documents needed has been received, and also they may check preliminary whether the minimum admission or entry requirements are satisfied or not. So they make the note and they will forward the application to our school. So once the application goes into our school, generally speaking, it will come to me. So my main role is to check their academic background. So whether their background is good enough or suitable for the program they applied for, and also for example, their GPA is good enough or matches what we need. So afterwards, I will give a preliminary decision. Say this suggestion will send back to university for them to make either a conditional or unconditional offer, or maybe we have to reject it if sometimes, yeah. So this is about the whole process of the application. And also, because I'm a PG officer here, we also offer different kinds of scholarship. So I would also help our school to select candidates, also recommend candidates, yeah. And so probably I'm talking about scholarship, so I can introduce, because we have different range of scholarship. Especially one scholarship I want to introduce is we offer one scholarship for overseas students, especially for the master program in taught. So by taught, we would offer 4,000 pounds scholarship if this candidate, their background is good enough, or they can achieve equivalent to 2-1 UK bachelor level. Yeah.
Great.
Okay.
Lovely. I want to move on to a couple of other questions that we have here. So can you tell us a little bit more about the international community of students here at the school?
Right. So we have a very wide-ranging community from all over the world. And this is reflected both in the student community and in the staff community. And we celebrate and value this diversity of backgrounds, because the world is very global and we want to prepare our students for a global careers and so on. We also celebrate in other ways. For example, we have Chinese New Year celebrations on a regular basis. We celebrate other festivals of other groups, nationalities that are here as we can. So I don't know, Richard and Huiling, do you want to add anything to this?
I think it just really reflects the nature of our disciplines. You know, our disciplines are global. And so I think that the kind of people that we have in and around the school, it just, as I say, reflects what we're like.
I think in the past we did have different kind of event to celebrate different culture things. Yeah.
That's it. And talking a little bit about how it's very international, but also there's a lot about interdisciplinary nature of the course as well, and the school. Tell us a bit more about that.
Right. So maybe I can start and colleagues can follow up. So as it tells from the name of our school, we although we started in the traditional engineering areas, we've also developed in this new world of design and media, which we've titled Digital Arts as part of our title. What underpins both areas is creativity, the need for creativity. And increasingly, future products and services need to be informed both in terms of their function and also in terms of form and appeal to people who will be using them. So we want to leverage this diversity of disciplines in our school to really address the needs of the future. And we do that increasingly in undergraduate degrees. In the postgraduate degrees, often, say if you're doing postgraduate research, studying for a PhD, you're often studying on your own, in your own subject. But we have a very good close-knit community of researchers, and working together, getting ideas off each other, be you an engineer or digital arts, helps you in the future. Who knows, you might be in a team designing a new product, getting your friends from university together, and having that diversity helps in the future.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably I can add a little bit more, yeah, because as our postgraduate programs are designed according to our three research groups' background. So actually, when students start with their project, they would get the project straight from what we are working on, this research area. So especially, for example, talking about the interdiscipline, I'm in the communication field, and but at the same time, we are working with the AR. So we have the AR as a source for us to transmit. So we do have the project actually working closely with people who are working in AR. So we are also talking about the joint project. Then student would get the chance to really working on this interdiscipline project together. Yeah.
Fantastic. And just moving on from that, how much contact hours can students really expect when they come here?
It varies from course to course, to tell the truth. All of our subjects are very practical. So it's all about creating things. So engineering is learning about the science and then putting that into practice to solve a problem. On the digital art side of things, and the digital media side of things, you're creating things. You'll see later on a whole range of animations that people have created, and they take time. So it's very, very much a creative process. So yes, you learn the theory. You have to learn the theory, but then it's all about putting that into practice. And so it's hard to actually say, give a definitive a number of hours per week or whatever. But it's very, very intensive. There's no shying away from that. All of our courses are very, very intensive. And if you look at research-based degrees, there's probably a bit more flexibility or perceived flexibility within what you can do, but again, it's an intense experience because you are working on a very dedicated problem for 2, 3, 4 years of your life.
Great. Well, thanks very much for all those insights there. We're going to come back to another panel in just a moment, but now let's have a look at some of the innovative digital work that students create right here at the University of Kent. panel of guests to talk us through the next parts of the Virtual Open Day. So first of all, if all three of you want to kind of just introduce yourself so that everyone knows who you are. Blaine, why don't you go first?
Yeah, hi, I'm Blaine Epsley. I'm a digital arts lecturer here at EDA at Kent University. I teach across all stages of our programs, from stage 1 all the way up to postgraduate, and focus on visual effects and computer animation for film and TV.
Fantastic. Jim?
I'm Jim Ang. I'm a director of postgraduate studies. That means I'm looking after all the master students.
Alexandra?
I'm Dr. Alexandra Kovaci, and I'm teaching virtual reality in stage 3, but also second year project in year 2.
Fantastic. So, Blaine, I'll come to you first. Tell us about the digital media postgraduate programs. Sorry.
Okay, yeah. So we've got 2 digital arts postgraduate programs that we teach. The first one being digital visual effects, which is an MSc program, and we really focus on the entire visual effects pipeline for film and TV primarily, though it does have a lot of kind of lead into other industries such as games and digital marketing and things like that, advertising. So we focus on a lot of different skills. We've got setup modules where you learn how to draw properly and storyboard, and then we've got 3D modeling stuff where you're creating digital 3D assets for film and TV. The effects animation, which is all of your explosions and all that kind of fun stuff that you see in the cinema. Digital compositing, which is the bit at the end of the process, which is bringing together all of the different assets and putting them into the final shot. Technical direction, all about lighting, and then we've got group work, which kind of simulates an industry environment where you have teams of people working together on a particular shot. Film and video production, pre-visualization, which is a lot of planning and learning about the process of filmmaking, digital filmmaking, and then a final project, which is a big chunky project at the end where you can work in a group or on a solo project. Then we also do a computer animation course, which is solely about the movement and locomotion of characters and objects. So it's a kind of a more artistic approach to teaching visual effects, but it really just focuses on creating animators for the film industry. So we have lots of postgraduates that go on and work on big action animation that you see in things like Lion King and the Avengers, but also more subtle acting animation, which is the facial animation, the lip sync kind of stuff that you might see in some of the Pixar kind of shorts and stuff like that. So they are actually shared programs, so some of the modules you will study on both of the programs together, but then as you progress through the year, the computer animation gets a lot more specific and just focuses on the movement of characters and acting and stuff like that.
Sounds fantastic. Jim, I'll move on to you next. Tell us a little bit about the research digital media postgraduate programs.
Right, we have a really vibrant international community of PhD students doing a range of different topics, research topics. For instance, we have students working on the digital cultural heritage area, which involves the use of different media technologies. Some of the things that Blaine just mentioned, this Hollywood visual effect, and apply this in the kind of a digital cultural heritage area. So as you may know, Canterbury is kind of a UNESCO World Heritage City, so this sort of area in digital cultural heritage is a growing and very exciting area. We have students, for instance, working on digital tourism as well, using virtual reality, augmented reality to promote cultural understanding and then to promote tourism to certain countries. As for my personal research, I supervise a number of students in healthcare, digital healthcare, so applying digital media technology, virtual reality, for instance, in treatment, psychological treatment. So we work quite closely with hospitals, care homes, developing, designing, and testing virtual reality for a range of different disorders, anxiety disorders, eating disorders. For instance, our group is the first to develop a kind of a remote VR therapy program for patients with eating disorders. So there's quite a wide range of different application areas where the latest emerging digital art, digital media technology can play an important role.
That sounds really fascinating. And tell us a bit more about the Intelligent Interactions Research Group.
Right, this is the group I'm part of, so obviously it's the most awesome group. But in seriousness, this is the most multidisciplinary group where we have a mix of engineering, expertise and digital art expertise. So I guess one really key advantage of studying an undergraduate, postgraduate research degree in this department is this exciting blend of engineering and digital art skills. So a lot of the new technology that we develop in the engineering area can be applied to digital art area. For instance, there have been a lot of interest in the use of artificial intelligence in automatic media generation. So I personally work on a project where we explore the use of AI, artificial intelligence, in creating a personalization of VR experience for people with dementia. So we collaborate with a range of different care homes, for instance, in the region. So another area that I'd like to highlight where engineering kind of crosses over to digital art is the use of sensing technology to detect and monitor people's engagement when people are interacting with digital media. So we can actually, again, personalize the content based on people's reaction and responses, emotional responses.
Great, we've actually had a question through from one of the people watching. They say they'd like to know a little bit more about on-campus jobs for postgrad international students. I don't know who's best to answer that.
There's quite a lot on offer actually. Kent Union host a job shop, and it's advertised regularly to our students, both undergraduates and postgraduates. A lot of our postgraduates do manage to find the time to juggle both work and their studies. I'm sure you're probably going to hear from some of them a little bit later on. So they can go into detail into how it is balancing that work-life relationship with their studies as well. But there is a lot of job opportunities on campus. We have a range of bars and restaurants on campus that are all staffed by students, shops as well, all on campus. And they get support in these applications from our employability services here as well. So yeah, we try and support students working as much as possible alongside their studies, providing it's not impacting on their work.
Can I add something as well? For research students, as a school, we are a research active school. We have funding from the government or hospitals in a range of different research projects. So often we involve our research students in some of these projects so that they're sort of exposed in a real world environment. For instance, a project that I have working with a hospital in Scotland, we have a PhD student actually working with a clinician in Scotland. So we also have teaching demonstration kind of opportunities for our research students to actually teach to gain some experience, especially those who want to be an academic in the future. So there's kind of a tremendous opportunity for them to gain some experience.
Great. Alexandra, I want to ask you a little bit more about your field of expertise. Tell us about that.
Well, my research is in the broad area of mixed reality. So I'm looking into augmented reality, virtual reality. I'm particularly interested in the transformative power of VR to change the self. So I'm looking into social scenarios, training scenarios, all kinds of applications of virtual reality. Recently, I started to look also into what happens when we go beyond audiovisual interfaces, and I want to, develop some sort of systematic understanding of building multisensory systems. So using different sort of technologies that can stimulate various senses in interactive applications.
And tell us what sort of research projects students are currently working on.
I can talk a bit about my PhD students who are working on using, again, this kind of mixed reality technologies. For one of them is working on a project for in which she's trying to use augmented reality for well-being. So we want to develop a solution that could help people be more aware of their state of mind and to promote some sort of emotional hygiene. And I have another PhD student from Bahrain who is trying to develop some virtual reality solution that could help the development of intercultural awareness, empathy. So we want to see and to use virtual reality as some sort of empathy machine that could help us to understand other cultures and to engage with them better.
Sounds really fascinating. We've got another question here about what sort of companies graduates end up working on.
Okay, so that kind of brings me to one of our slides here, actually, because we've got a range of students, and I just wanted to mention that all of the images that have been shown from films are all actually worked on by our graduates. I haven't used any sort of random film shots to make us look good. It's all actually done by graduates that have graduated within the last sort of 5 to 6 years. So they go on to work for the biggest visual effects houses on the planet, really. Every single movie you see in the cinema will have had shots worked on by our graduates. Places like Frame Store, DNEG, MPC, who are responsible for The Lion King. That's a personal record of ours. We had 6 graduates working on The Lion King. So yeah, we were really proud of that. And actually, a lot of our graduates that go on to work on these films and TV shows end up coming back to deliver guest lectures, and it's a really valuable part of our courses because they get to build these connections with people working in the industry immediately, even when they're still studying.
And what's a sort of starting salary for someone who starts off in the visual effects graduate?
I would expect that a graduate from a postgraduate degree going in a junior role to be starting on around £30,000. Now this does vary. Sometimes you have to start a little bit lower down the ladder in order to get where you want to be. But the nature of this particular industry in visual effects and film, which we offer taught programs in here, is very kind of contract based, and for that reason the wages tend to go up quite quickly, which a lot of people find very appealing, and it's a little bit more flexible to work in this industry as well.
And what about the studying here? What's a typical day like for students?
So for our postgraduate taught students, a typical day is 9 to 5 in the computer lab with all your peers and your academic colleagues as well, working on projects. One really big appeal is that our programs don't have any exams. So people that don't like exams don't have to be put off. We don't have any exams whatsoever, but the coursework load is quite high. So we tend to treat it as a day job. So we encourage students to work 9 to 5, 5 days a week on their courses. That being said, some students prefer a slightly later working day. Sometimes they might take a day off during the week so they can go and work a job. But then they'll be on a Saturday working in the lab. We have kind of an open door policy here, all the academics do, so whenever they need support they can get in contact with us via email or come and bang on our door, and we're usually there to help them out as well.
Great, well, great to hear your insights there. So obviously we've spoken to the experts about the digital arts course, but let's hear now from a PhD student who study here at the University of Kent.
So I specifically wanted to stay at Kent just because I'm working with a English heritage site, St Augustine's Abbey, which is situated locally. So I also wanted to be in contact with the people who are aware of the local projects in the county. My PhD concentrates on the digital reconstruction of St Augustine's Abbey with a holographic display, and it involves researching through the historical data of the Abbey and how it would have looked like in different time periods, remodeling it in 3D and projected on with mid-air projection units. I have 2 supervisors, one based in EDA, which helps with the digital and technological side of the project, and my other co-supervisor is from the Centre for Cultural Heritage, which helps with the theory and discussions about conservation, preservation and reconstruction. Application procedure for the PhD degree is that you put a project proposal with a novel idea based on the literature review and research that you've done. So you have to find a literature gap and then bring some ideas up on the what can be done in the industry to develop such theories. Then you most probably discuss it with few supervisors, few lecturers who work in the field, and then you can choose the supervisor who's interested in the project, and then after that it's through the university admission that leads the I specifically wanted to do a master's before my research degree just to learn more about the 3D environments and spatial dynamics, and that is why I'm definitely incorporating in my research and modeling of the Abbey.
Panel of experts joining me now. So first of all, like before, if everyone is all right, just to introduce themselves so everyone knows who everyone is.
Yeah, I'm Chao Wang. I'm a senior lecturer in the school and also the program chair of one of the MSc programs in engineering.
Fantastic, Nathan.
Hi, I'm Nathan Gomes. I'm a professor in the school and I'm also the director of research.
Hi, I'm Shabnam Noor. I'm a postdoctoral researcher and I actually obtained my PhD in electronic engineering from Kent last year.
Lovely, thank you very much. So Chao, I'll start with you. Can you give us an idea, an overview of your school's taught engineering?
Yeah, definitely. The school, within the School of Engineering and Digital Arts, we're offering a variety of engineering MSc programs. For example, we're offering the MSc Advanced Communication Engineering. So this program is already driven by the ever-increasing demand for broader bandwidth or higher data rates. I believe today's open day won't be possible without these broadband network technologies. So this program will teach students with the latest advanced telecom technologies that is being developed and deployed. So the core modules in this program including the data network and internet, and communication series. We also adopt our program frequently to involve most advanced technologies so far, focus on the 5G mobile network and also intelligent network and the cloud. The program also covers topics like satellite and optical communications and RF system and technologies. So the second program in the school we're offering is advanced electronics and system engineering. So this is more like a more broad program in electronics. It covers the aspects from telecoms, control, embedded system to instrumentations. So this program focuses on the topic like digital signal processing, imaging analysis, and embedded systems, computer architectures, and also instrumentation and sensors. And the third program in the school offers is the MSc Information Security and Biometrics. So this is focused on the development and design and also effective use of secure information systems. So this program is jointly offered between our school and School of Computing. So the contents covers topics in computer security and biometrics technologies and also the system security. And I'd like to highlight that all of those programs are accredited by the governing body of IET, which is the Institute of Engineering and Technology. And on top of that, we are planning to offer more programs in the field of engineering, for example, biomedical engineering and mechanical engineering. So please stay tuned.
Yeah, thanks for that, Chao. Tell us a little bit more about the engineering research groups, Nathan.
So we have three research groups in the school. Communications, intelligent interactions, and instrumentation and control. So to go through the groups, we first of all in communications area, we do work in 5G and now beyond 5G mobile and wireless communications. So these are very important techniques and technologies which have enabled the high bit rates we get to our mobile phones and our laptops nowadays. And it's obviously looking into the future. Another area in that group is antennas and antenna technology, microwave RF systems. These we're able to design with the software suites we have very specific and detailed antenna technologies, 2D, 3D antennas, body-worn antennas, and we have a very significant anechoic chamber, which is a fairly unique facility in the country, and that enables the people here, the students, the research students, to test those technologies. We have an area in photonics and covering microphotonics and frontal and radio over fiber, and there we also have very good facilities, and The photonic signal processing actually helps with the microwave area. We interact a lot with the people in antennas. And in the frontal area, we interact a lot with the mobile communications. It's related to that. So there's a lot of synergy across that group. In intelligent interactions, we do a lot of work on biometrics. So things like facial iris recognition, various systems like that, and generally in image processing, so looking at document analysis, for example, and pattern recognition. And there is a significant area of artificial intelligence coming through in that. And in fact, that is involved in some ways in all of our research groups. The group also does work on healthcare technologies, assistive technologies, so in terms of wheelchairs, intelligent navigation and control of wheelchairs. There's a lot of work in that area. And we've done work and worked with hospitals and rehabilitation clinics and things as well.
Fantastic. Shabnam, I'll ask you the next question. Just tell us a little bit more about your postgraduate study at the moment.
Well, actually, I've completed my PhD already, but yeah, like any other PhD program in the UK, mine was also a 3-year program with the 4th year reserved for writing your thesis. So the first year, I basically tried to familiarize myself with the simulation software and equipment and my research topic, and I tried to actually find my precise research topic. I tried to familiarize myself with the research area. I should probably say that. Yeah, so that was the first year. Second year was more about in-depth research. And 3rd year was mainly about wrapping up your research. So final measurements and focusing on main work and all of that. And I had 24/7 access to fully equipped labs and online resources like IEEE publications, physical resources, and specialized software. And all of these helped me a lot to basically verify my research ideas. And also, throughout my PhD, I actually submitted a lot of reports. I had regular meetings with my supervisor. And the reports actually helped me a lot to really shape my ideas and clarify my thoughts. And yeah, they also helped me to develop my technical writing skills, which are really important when it comes to writing research papers. And I was a graduate teaching assistant as well, so that gave me some experience in teaching. So not teaching in the form of lectures, but demonstrations. So these are like helping out in examples classes and labs mainly. So yeah, and I got to work with quite a few master students. I helped them with their final year projects. I worked on a 5G project, a EU-Japan project called RAPID. And I also got the chance to work with many research groups, some of which are from the school, from the university, and some from other countries, universities in other countries. And yeah, some from even companies like Orange Labs, for example. So yeah, all of these things and seminars and workshops organized by the school, and yeah, all sorts of different events really helped me to build on networking skills and teamwork, and yeah, some teaching, some supervising even. And yeah, sometimes they also help me to improve my work.
Great. We've had a few questions submitted actually, so I'll go through as many of those as possible. Firstly, I don't know who's best to answer these, but what's the size of a class for MSc Advanced Electronics System Engineering?
Okay, I think I can answer this. I think the student number varies over the years. The normal number, for example, in recent years, about around 10. So the class will be shared, some of the modules will be shared by some other programs as well. I think the size is reasonable, it's not big that, it's not too big that students can receive very, dedicated guidance and support.
Another one that's come through is, what's the number of courses and credits in one semester and study work in a week for the MSc Advanced Electronic Systems Engineering?
Oh, it's a good question. Basically, in order to complete the whole degree, you should complete totally 180 credits. That including the 60 degrees credits for the project work. So basically for taught modules, there will be 120 credits. So give you an idea, one credit corresponding to roughly 10 hours of working load. So that could give you a roughly idea how much work you should do. I would like to say that this whole year project is very intense. So you should be prepared to, concentrate and dedicate yourself.
Thank you for that. A couple of others that are popping up. Does applying to the PhD program require masters in electrical engineering?
It doesn't require it. We will take students with a very good first degree, so it doesn't require it, but there are some advantages to doing a master's beforehand, and many of our students have done.
Thank you for that. And another one that's come through, does the ASE accept computing students?
Yes, we accept students with relative areas, not only from engineering, but computer systems. But we all look at the mathematical skills, so that'll be basically analyzed by case base. We're definitely welcome. Yeah.
And the last one that's come through, what's the immediate benefits of the ASE and how is it different from other engineering programs?
So I think the communications is really a fast-growing area. So especially with those new technology developed. So we're offering the program, like I introduced before, covers different aspects of the topic. And also we have close relation and contact with industry partners. So that gives our graduates quite a lot of opportunities for future career development. And also the supervisors and teachers, they are very research active, to know what's going on in the field. So I think those are provide a lot of good support to the students.
Great. Well, thank you all for those comments there. So let's hear more from Shabnam about her electronic engineering PhD and why she chose the University of Kent.
I chose Kent due to a few different reasons, actually. So the first was a more practical one. So I found a supervisor in the research area that I was interested in, and I was offered funding. So I did my master's and my bachelor's degrees in telecommunications. And during my master's, I did a course on fiber optic communication systems, and I got interested in this field. So I started looking for opportunities to pursue a higher degree in it. Kent was offering its 50th anniversary scholarship at that time. And I've managed to find my, at that time, potential supervisor. So, yeah, that was probably the biggest reason. But the administrative staff here were probably the warmest, nicest people out of all the administrative staff I came across when I was applying to other universities. They not only helped me with my application process and all related procedures, but they went out of the way to actually advise me regarding living expenses and accommodation and many personal things as well, which I found really, really nice. My research is on 5G communications. So to achieve the targets of 5G, which are basically very high data rates for a very large number of users and applications, we need again a very large number of antennas to transmit this data to all these users and applications. And I'm looking at ways to do this efficiently using a combination of optical and RF technology. After my PhD, I'm not entirely sure, but I am open to options in both academia and industry. I realized that I like research a lot, especially after I started my PhD. I realized that, and I like teaching as well. So I think at some point I will try to go into academia, but for now, probably I want to work in industry for some time to gain some experience and especially find out how our research is actually being used.
So we're back with a new panel of experts now. So first of all, as before, I'll just get you individually to kind of just introduce yourselves.
Right, so I'm Luma Taba, and I'm a lecturer in digital media, a PhD candidate, and I've done my master's in 3D animation here at the school.
Fantastic. Michael?
I'm Michael Liao. I am currently studying PhD first year here in electronic engineering.
My name is Philippos Markopoulos. I'm a lecturer here, and like Luma, I also did my master's degree many years ago now. So I came for 1 year, and that ended up in being 10 years and running now. So I work, my research area is telecommunications and optical networks.
Fantastic. Luma, I'll come back to you here. How do you find settling into university life like here at Kent?
So at first, when I first arrived here, obviously I was very anxious, but then we were welcomed by a team of volunteers from Kent Union. They helped us move into our accommodation, and then there were loads of activities on that welcome week. We got to know a lot of people, and you know, it's nice to know that there are other anxious students as well, because there's loads of students coming from all over the world. And then once you get to know them, you get to know their, you know, their backgrounds, their cultures. It's very enriching and it's very nice as well. You get a lot of activities on campus and here at the school as well to initiate, you know, engagement and getting to know the students and getting to know, you know, friends and all. Here at the school, we also celebrate loads of range of cultural activities such as the Diwali as well as the Chinese New Year and loads of other, you know, activities as well. So it's quite nice and it's quite, you know, the activities in the university, they motivate you to be more social, you know, getting to know more people, and that, I think that makes it much easier.
Fantastic. And what would you say to someone thinking about coming to study here?
Yeah, so especially for my my degree, when I did my 3D animation course, it was nice that there was a dedicated space for master's students in the specifically for animation and visual effects. It was nice that there was, you know, those there's lots of societies that are related to my interests. So there is the photography society, the anime society, games society. There's loads of society. There's a society for every single interest that you might find yourself in. Yeah, there's, you know, the especially when you want to come for a master's degree, you want to master the skills that you want to, you know, get a career in. And here at the school, you get industry standards programs, you get industry standard equipment, a load of range of cameras, professional cameras, and, you know, virtual reality headsets, and loads of other facilities that are available, such as the green screen studio, the audio engineering studio, everything our discipline really needs to produce professional work.
Fantastic. And Michael, I'll come to you now. What would you say to someone who's thinking of coming to Kent to study engineering?
So for the engineering part, we are very research intensive. So we would have visiting scholars every year from around the world to visit here, and you can collaborate with them. And we also have facilities like the workshop, and so in the workshop, they can help you to build test rigs and stuff. Because for me, although I'm doing instrumentation, but I came from like more of a software background. So for me, building hardware is more difficult. So I would turn to like the EDA support center for help for my test rigs and stuff. So I believe this is pretty like a positive side of studying here. Yeah.
And in terms of the weekly program, what can you tell us about that when it comes to research, seminars?
Oh, okay. So me, myself, is actually one of the organizers of my research group. So we have seminars every other week. And in the seminar, we will present our work to our colleagues and our supervisors, as well as people in other fields. They can also join us, and then they will give us feedback. So it's a good time to exchange ideas as well as make your presentation skills into another level. Yeah.
Right, Philippus, I'll come to you now. If you could tell us a little bit more about the academic support that's available to students and to yourself at Kent.
Yeah, so there are a number of ways we offer support to students. So every student here is assigned to an academic advisor, and that would be an academic. And his role is, as the title implies, to offer support in all issues academic, support and guidance. And there will be a number of meetings throughout the year where the students get to meet with their academic advisor, but students can meet with their academic advisor whenever they feel there is a need as well. And it's a proactive role as well, so the academic advisor will monitor the progress of his students, make sure that everything is running smoothly, and intervene if it's necessary, offer support. Then for students in our taught programs, when they're doing their project, there will be a supervisor. But also for our research students, throughout the course, they will have a supervisor, and they will meet with the supervisor every week, essentially. So there are weekly meetings, but practically what happens very often, it's more than once a week. And that's because the project or the research is at a state where it requires more meetings, more support. But quite often, these meetings are not just for guidance and support. Very often, they become more of a discussion, brainstorming sessions, planning for the project. Then, of course, there are the lecturers. And what happens very often, we get students that want to find us because either they missed a lecture or they want some clarification on course material. So lecturers are always available to offer that. It's just a knock on the door or an email. Then we have more generic academic support within the school. And of course at the university level as well, if students require so. So there's a number of ways we offer them support.
And in terms of that support, is there any specific support for employability?
Yes, of course. So again, what happens quite often is students will, for all sort of support-related issues, will come and talk to their advisor or to the supervisor, and then maybe they can offer some advice. If not, they can direct them to at the school level, where there's an employability officer who can also guide them and advise them. And then we also have university, so at third level, let's say, support there. We have an employability career office, and there are events that happen through the year, and of course skills for employability and things like that. Because we are very research intensive, very often students will actually work in projects in collaboration with our industry partners, both if they're doing research or during their project in a taught course. And also, very often our lecturers are actually visiting professors coming directly from industry, and quite often lecturers themselves have worked in industry in the past, so they can bring that experience in. And then there are other aspects that are embedded within the course itself. So for our taught courses, we have project management, project planning related aspects. Students, of course, have to present their work quite often for the project or for the research as well. And very often within taught modules as well, they will have to present to their peers. So what's called flipped classroom. So they have to present their work to their peers and to their lecturer. So all these skills, some of them directly, some of them indirectly, will help them with employability as well. Yeah. We also have the employability center at the university as well, and that's an award-winning center that offers them quite a lot of support as well.
Fantastic. We've had a couple of questions through, actually. They're asking about internship opportunities for postgrad students and after-graduate job placements for engineering graduates. I don't know who's best to answer that question, what kind of opportunities there are for that.
So there are definitely opportunities. So it's something that has happened quite often in the past. I would say it depends a lot on the project. So we had students in the past that actually did placements in BT and other companies. What I would suggest is that it's something they discuss with their supervisor, especially when they're planning for the projects, it's something they can discuss and ask whether there is an opportunity for something like that. But it's definitely possible, yes.
Yeah, and Luma, are there other campus jobs during studies to manage kind of day-to-day expenses if students are needing to?
Yes, of course. There are loads of opportunities that are offered by the job shop at the university. You can get whether that is a job that is related to the library, the Kent Union jobs as well. But also, at least for our discipline, you get opportunity for freelance jobs that are related to art and graphic design and web development, whatever your experience is in. But yeah, basically, definitely, it is much easier. And also, for me, for example, when I was doing my my PhD, I was a demonstrator at the school here. So, which means I was assisting in the teaching process. So, assisting students in labs and whatnot, and that was also a paying job. So, I was able to sustain myself as well.
Fantastic. We've got one last question as well that's come through. Someone's saying that they'd like to do a PhD after their MSc, AESE. Can they openly interact with current PhD students and discuss research areas?
From my experience, yes, of course. Yeah. Of course, yeah. That is always there, yes. So very often we get actually prospective students directly emailing our current students. So we have a website with all the details of our current research students, for example, and they can always contact them. So it does happen quite often, yeah.
Great. And in terms of academic advisors, how often can students expect to kind of interact with them?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, yeah. Usually we have weekly meetings, but we also require us to have like a monthly larger meeting for all the students, and it has to be logged on our student system, so that everyone would they'll have keep track of their work. So, yeah.
And one that I could probably ask each one of you individually is kind of just what your favourite thing is about this school and Kent more generally.
I would say for me, it is so much easy to make friends and to get exposed to the variety of cultures and backgrounds, and having this environment is quite enriching, and I enjoy it.
Fab, Michael.
Yeah, for me, it's actually that PhD really gets a desk here, so it's good that you have your own space and store your files, and you also have a computer that you can work with all the software you can get. Yeah.
And for the boss.
For me, I think there are many reasons, but one was research. So getting the chance to actually interact with industrial partners and the researchers here was very, very interesting. And there's this sort of team spirit here. So we're all focused in actually doing our research all together very often. I know we are dividing groups, but there is a lot of interaction happening between research groups. And that is also very, 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 very interesting. But for Kent, I would say if anyone is thinking of coming here to study, check about what Canterbury is and how Kent is. It's one of the most beautiful places in the UK. There's a lot of history here. The town is beautiful. The university is one of the the best campuses, I think, in the country as well. So all these reasons, I think, make it a really nice place to be here.
Fantastic. Well, great to hear all about your different experiences there. And now let's have a look at the whole campus and give you a taste of what's on offer. So we're now joined by our new panel. Of course, Farzan, we've already introduced you earlier on in the programme, but if I'll let you, all three of you, introduce yourselves as well, just so that everyone knows who you are.
Hi, I'm Sabiha and I'm doing MSc in Advanced Communication Engineering.
Fantastic.
Hello everyone, I'm Jin Cheng Zhang. I'm a final year in my PhD project and working in the energy. So my project is about the instrumentation. Thank you.
Okay. Hello everyone, my name is Wurala Fagbami. I'm a taught master student for the Digital Visual Effects course.
Fantastic. I'll just say that this is kind of your chance to ask any questions that we haven't got to yet. So if you want to put any of those, just comment on the YouTube stream, just mention us on Twitter and we'll try and get through to those. One question that we have had through is how is EDA different and unique from other universities across the UK?
Right, so maybe I take this one. There is a sense in which we are not different from other universities. We are all governed in the same way. Our quality of our degrees are assessed to the same standard. Many of our degrees are accredited with the same accrediting body. But there is a sense in which we are unique in the blend of subjects that we teach, and including the creative end, the digital arts and design aspects, as well as the formal engineering aspects. Bringing those things together gives us a kind of a unique feature, I would say. But also the other thing is the very friendly atmosphere that we have had. In the past, we won prizes for the best workplace of the year in the universities. So I think that is also a distinguishing feature.
Fantastic. And what's the typical day like for a postgraduate student?
Okay, so we usually start off with classes in the morning. Our classes are usually structured around a sort of brief that we've been given. So we're meant to each work on a particular brief and try and make it as personalized as possible. And the classes sometimes last from 9 till 5, but more recently we've been doing the 9 to 1. After that we have a sort of break and the rest of the day is yours. So by 1, most of us are pretty tired and shattered. So we come down for lunch, we play a little Monopoly card game, and then it's back to work. We usually work for as long as is necessary because VFX is kind of like the more you do it, the better you get at it. So it's kind of trying to train your eye so you can be better at what you're doing. And after that, the rest of the day is up to you. A lot of us tend to stay pretty late, but it's because we enjoy what we're doing.
Excellent. But is it possible to make time to enjoy kind of wider aspects of student life as well?
Yes, very possible. I go to the gym at least 3 times a week. I have 2 other part-time jobs, and there are several people in my class that have this as well. There are also some people who are involved in societies and clubs. Some people are doing student reps or have like a personal business or something like that. So it takes a lot of your time, but what you need is just a bit of time management, organize it, a scale of preference, and it should be fine.
Great. We've had a question just pop through now. They've heard that you have a degree program in mechanical engineering. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
So this is one of the new developments in the university. We've just started an undergraduate program from September in mechanical engineering. Alongside it, we are launching a postgraduate research program in mechanical engineering. Again, that should start in September. So if viewers are interested in that, please get in touch with us and we point you to this program. It should be very exciting new development there.
Fantastic. I'll come to Jane next. What aspects of your studies have you particularly enjoyed?
I would say there are a lot of aspects you enjoy, but I think first of all is environment. So basically, this school, they offer you a very friendly environment. So you have meet different people from different culture, different background. So it's quite interesting that you can talk and meet with different people, and you enjoy and you can inspire your what you are doing and think about more. And I think in terms of your study, this school, they offer you some facilities so you can do more practical work like the lab, and also they do some demonstration so you can just instruct students step by step so you can learn more quick in the software, and also keep your hands on some practical work like hardware. And for my project, I feel like this school, they offer you the technical support. Like in my first year and second year, I need to get the support from the technical and workshop technician. They help me to build task grids, really help me a lot to continue my study. So it's really enjoyable. You deal with the stuff here, yeah.
And Sophia, I'll come to you now. What's it like being a student at Canterbury? What's your experience of it?
I feel that Canterbury is a very lovely place. It's very peaceful and beautiful as well. And as it's very close to London, so a student can literally plan on every weekend to go to London and spend their weekend there. Moreover, if you see geographically, as it's on the southeast of England, so in summer break, student can literally plan to go to France and other European countries and spend their summer time there. And I think it's very fun living in Canterbury.
And what about the accommodation that's available here?
Being a postgraduate an international student, I was very worried that how would the accommodation will be like, where will I live, and how far will that be from my university. But thanks to the university website, I came to know about the on-campus accommodation, which is specifically for postgraduate students, and it's called Wolf College, and basically it's located on in our central campus. And everything is very near from here, like the bus stop is like few steps away, and you can just go to the city center easily. And if you are not very lazy like me, then you can just walk down the hill and you can go to the city center. And also at reception, they are very warm and friendly staff there. They help you and guide you in everything. Moreover, the best thing is that they have an app. It's called Home at Halls. So whenever you have any problem in terms of your accommodation, your room, toilet or kitchen, you can just report in that app, and they will come and fix that problem in no time. So I think that's very great.
Yeah, great, thanks for that. We've had a question through saying, asking whether there are any opportunities for students to come visit the visual effects or animation studios.
Yes, of course. If students can come and visit, we have open days and applicant days which are published, and people can find those dates. But if they can't come on those dates, we can arrange a one-to-one meeting for students. We would very much like students to come and visit, know what they're coming to join, get as much information as possible. So if you could come and visit us, please do. And Louisa, I forgot one thing in response to your question about how we are different. One thing came to mind, and that is all UK universities are assessed in terms of their teaching as part of something called Teaching Excellence Framework, or TEF. And these universities are rated as gold, silver and bronze, and I'm pleased to say University of Kent is rated as TEF Gold for all the educational provision we have.
Fantastic. And we've had another question about kind of the facilities and the investment that's being put here at Kent. If you could tell us a little bit more about that.
Right. So that goes into an earlier question that came from viewers about mechanical engineering. In order to launch mechanical engineering, there's been a substantial amount of investment by the university to refurbish a lot of our space to make it a space suitable for modern mechanical engineering, which is very design-oriented. There's a lot of emphasis in CAD and virtual and augmented reality, as well as the latest technologies for manufacturing, for example, 3D printers and devices like that. So this work is undergo at the moment. If you were to come and visit us, you see a big building site. That is, hopefully it will be all ready by September when we launch the program. The other area there's been a huge investment is the library. We have a new library extension here, and libraries have changed over the years. In the old days when I was a student, they were full of books. But now there are much more interactive social spaces for learning, places where people can interact. It is really a lovely environment, and our library is really fantastic in that regard.
Fantastic, thank you for that. We've had a couple of other questions. More specifically, they want to know a little bit more about your experience about the MSc coursework, or sort of their study load and during research, and how you kind of cope with that?
So I think I would say that it's not quite easy, like rather it's challenging and you have to do a lot of hard work. But the staff here is very encouraging. Your professor, instructor, everybody guide you to through every step. They teach you in a proper way that you like understand each and everything. And also there's a like strong framework of supportive staff, like be it a IT staff, IT or a technical team. They help you and guide you in each and everything. So in this way, also there are so many workshops. Through that you can learn time managing and everything related to your studies or through or extracurricular activities as well.
Great. We've also had a question about Jane, what you study. What's your research about?
Yeah, I'm very happy that someone interested in my project. So basically, I'm in the, so there are 3 groups, I think. So for my research, I'm located in the instrumentation group. So what we are doing that we deal with the sensors and signal processing and some post-processing for like data mining. And also these days a hot topic like artificial intelligence. So my project is cooperate with one industrial sponsor. It's about the flow metering. So what we are doing about the flow measurement and all the facilities. So in real industrial application, you have some real problem. Then we are like dealing with some problem and to improve their products. And so for the end user, you can have a benefit. And for us, we can do some research. We have both benefit for us. Yeah.
Great. We've had quite a few other questions come through just in the last couple of minutes. One that I have here is, where do students graduate?
Where do they graduate? That is a really good question. So there are graduations in July and in November, and our students have this fantastic opportunity to do their graduation ceremony in Canterbury Cathedral. It's really a magnificent building, and probably you can find on YouTube videos of previous graduations, but students obviously robe in the traditional fashion, as do academic staff who've supported them. There's a lovely procession. We all go up and sit down, and parents come. There's a lot of clapping and music, and often there's also an honorary degree offered there, and there will be an honorary degree ceremony. Student representatives recently also speak to the assembled body. It's really magnificent. It's the best day of the academic year.
And one that I asked to a previous panel as well, but I might ask you as well, is what their favourite thing is about Canterbury and Kent.
Shall I go last?
I go last. Yeah.
So again, as I said, Canterbury is a very lovely place. But again, the thing I like the most about it is that it's a very historic place. As he told about the Canterbury Cathedral, it's a very, very lovely, and I became very happy to know that our convocation ceremony will be held there. So I think I like it because of its more historical perspective, and that's why.
Yeah, I think personally, I like Canterbury is located in a very beautiful area, Kent. So the whole area and the person, you feel that safety and also peaceful. So it gives you some quiet places you can study, and it's also historical, so you can explore some interesting to do, and also the wildlife. Also, you have some places to think about yourself, and I'm more interested in here, like some elder people, they're quite welcome and friendly. So when the first day I come here, I feel very warm and touched. So I would say, if compared to London, I would prefer the living life here. And also, it's convenient for you. If you can travel to London on the weekend, you can also visit a museum. So quite a good location here.
Okay, for me, I'd say I grew up in a bigger city, or a city filled with more people, and it's been a kind of relief to just leave all of that city life and kind of come to a much quieter small town. Things are much closer than you would think or imagine, and they're just a lot less people, so I like the peace and quiet.
So I must agree with our students on this. I think there's something special about the space. It has been a place of human habitation for like millions of years, well, not millions, but thousands of years, and there's something very attractive about it. I think where you come and study, the environment, the buildings and so on do affect you, and I think we have a really lovely location here, both in terms of the city and the campus. And if I was to add one more thing to it, that is the diversity of people we have, both our students and staff, who are attracted to this place, and we found a way of working together very harmoniously. So I think it's quite right that Kent is called the Garden of England, and Kent is the best bit of the, well, Canterbury, I would say, is the best bit of the garden.
Lovely. And what's sort of some of the advice that you might give to someone who's considering applying for this school?
Do you want to start with me on this?
Yeah, move on.
So I think, of course, it's good to be well informed. So you really need to study the course and the place, find out as much as you can online. If you can come and visit us, please come and visit us to find out as much as you can. But the other thing I say to you is that you make a big investment in coming to study. So start studying from day one, be very serious about it. The knowledge that you learn here will be very useful, not only to you, but to others. So I say be serious from day one.
What's your advice here?
So based on my personal experience, I would say that if you want to excel in a particular field, you definitely need to have strong theoretical knowledge. So for that, yeah, Kent is a perfect place to make your dream come true. But here again, you will have to broaden your horizon towards the research, because the professor here, everyone expects you to read a lot of research papers and to know a lot about literature knowledge. Then again, as I said before, it's not very easy. It's challenging, and you have to do a lot of hard work and work from day one and make a proper timetable. But again, I can assure that you will learn a lot, and it will be a wonderful experience, and as it's a once in a lifetime opportunity, so everybody should make the most of it, and I think it would be great working or studying here.
Great. And Jane, what's your advice to someone who might be thinking of applying?
I think firstly, like your time management. So the first day, if you want to adapt to this environment, because most of us, we come here is like a new environment, so you want to adapt quickly. You must set your own like timetable, like 5 to 9. So we work daily, and you keep going on the weekend and talk with persons. You can keep a balance and have a regular meeting with the supervisor, so they can guide you. And if you have some like the study, you have some difficulties or some misunderstanding, I think that communication is a good way you can solve the problem. And also for your family, you keep the link with your friends, you can still talking, and you can also travel, do something different, meet with different persons. Like all this keep you active. It can help you adapt. Yeah, thank you.
Okay. For me, I'd say keep an open mind and be willing to do the work. My first degree was in law, so coming here, like I was blindsided. I just came, I didn't know anything. And then the first month, you know, I was able to catch up pretty quickly. But I think apart from the fact that it was the contribution of my professors and my lecturers, that it was also me just trying to do my best. And you won't be the best from day one, but you can get better every single time that you try to do something. If you look at your work from when you came and then when you're leaving, you can see the difference. It's obvious to you. And another thing I would say is take advantage of all the help that everyone is offering to you. Everyone is super nice, and they want what's best for you. They want you to make the most of your experience. So don't be afraid to reach out or ask for help, and just keep working hard.
Lovely. And touch upon a little bit more about the extracurricular stuff. I think we talked a little bit about accommodation earlier on, but what kind of societies are there here at the uni to get involved with?
So that's an interesting question. Yeah, there is a diversity of societies in University of Kent. Just think of anything and you will find a society related to that, be it a cultural society, religious society, or society related to games, yoga, or if you want to learn a language, again you can learn that from here. So basically I feel that University of Kent itself encourages its students to take an active role in extracurricular activities. That's why I think they arrange a fresher week where all the societies display their stalls walls, and from there we can get information about that society. And if you like that society, you can register, and they will start sending you emails about that. And from there you can get to know about all the events and everything. So I think it's really fun to join any society, because I also feel that while after joining a society, my communication skills improved. I met a lot of international people. So it feels like you are not only living in England, but also you are getting or knowing the diversity of like from different countries and from all over the world. That's why it's very fun.
Thanks for that. We've had a question pop up just now asking if there are schools links with the industry. I think we touched upon this a bit earlier on, but how this kind of really benefits the programs.
Sure. So we might have discussed it earlier on. We have a liaison committee, industrial advisory body that meets regularly to advise us about the links with industry. They inform us about the curriculum, like what subjects are more needed, what subjects are should be emphasized in our curriculum to make our graduates suitable for industry. And they also come and visit us when we have a research conference. Members from our industrial panel come, see what the research work that is going on. And they also are a conduit for placements and internships, and a chance for us to present our students for future employment. So that link with industry, very important, both in engineering and the digital arts, digital media. And we are constantly refreshing that industrial advisory panel. And some of our graduates are now on the panel, so they're motivated to help us more. So we're keeping that one alive.
And going back to the application process, someone's asked as well how long it takes before they hear back when they have applied.
Right, so it is usually very fast on our side. So as soon as we get an application, this is reviewed. As Huiling said in the first session, she's the one who receives these applications. She might go to various program chairs, depending on the subject, to get advice about the suitability of the student and the match of their background to the subject. But within 1 or 2 weeks, you would hear from us. So there won't be radio silence on our part. But then there are a number of steps that need to happen, so that we get the visa sorted out, and if they're applying from overseas, that is. So we will be in regular contact. As soon as we hear from you, we'll be in touch.
Fantastic. And just one last question which we've had through is about feedback. How do students kind of give their feedback when it comes to their experience during the course? Are they invited to give their views?
That's a very good question. I mean, although we are teaching our students, we are constantly learning from them as well. We try to improve our processes and our provision all the time. So we have, for postgraduate students in particular, we have this postgraduate student staff liaison committee, which is also called Student Voice Committee. It meets regularly every term, and students can bring, through their representatives, they have elected representatives, so they can put issues and questions to the Student Staff Liaison Committee, which we will then discuss and try and address, and then provide feedback. Either we've done it, or we couldn't do what they wanted, or whatever. So there's always that channel of feedback. Recently, we have introduced something called a silent voice, where students can anonymously put ideas. Sometimes the rep mechanism is a bit slow, so they could just immediately go to this website anonymously saying, look, I have an issue with Deravi's course, or whatever it is, he talks too much or talks too little, whatever it is. So that information then comes again to that committee, and then we look at it and we try and deal with it. And then annually there is surveys of students, both postgraduate taught and postgraduate research students, annually surveyed, and we get their feedback in terms of ranking of various activities, and also we get their free comments as well. So there are ample mechanisms for feedback. We really like to know what the students are feeling throughout the course.
Oh, we're just about running out of time, but just as a final point, just just as the students could give us just an idea of kind of what they appreciate the most about their course, and just kind of how they describe their time here at the uni so far. Yeah, we can move that way.
Okay, I'll just go first. For me, I think what I enjoy the most is the connections that we also have to the industry. We have 2 lecturers or associate lecturers who are still working in the industry, and they also come on specific days when they take a class or something. And I think that's really beneficial for us because there's only so much that you can learn here, and there are a lot of tips and tricks that you learn while on the job. So they can also give us that and then teach us, and then we can also learn more and become better.
Jane?
Yeah, I feel like similar. Like for me, I feel like working with some people, they have industrial experience. They can give you some valuable, and you can learn from book or just Google. So sometimes you give you like the practical experience quite valuable, and when you look them from the books, it's a theoretical aspect. But when you look at in the real time or the real life, they give you some practical considerations. You feel like, okay, that's the thing should really happen, and it will give you, so the links from our group, I think the links from other research group, and also the whole school have some links from industrial, and they give you the very important support. Yeah, really appreciate that.
So the thing I like the most is that it's not only about the theoretical knowledge, but we have some workshops in which we do work in labs as well, and we have practice classes. We are asked to do some presentations, so it does improve our presentation skills as well. So again, everything is possible only when the staff and the professor, everyone is very helpful and cooperative and encourage you at every step. So that's the best thing.
Great. Well, kind of running out of time here, but thank you so much all the panel of guests and students who have come in to talk us a little bit more about the School of Engineering and Digital Arts. We hope you found it really helpful, but that's all from us here on the Virtual Open Day. Goodbye.
Bye.
Learning is not just reciting. It's challenging, progressive, collective. It's independent and it's collaborative. It's creative.
It's feeling included, accepted. My people, my passions, brought together in one place. It's discussing, connecting, uniting, enjoying the loud, but appreciating the quiet.
It's never feeling discouraged and always feeling acknowledged, supported when you need it.
It's diversifying and unifying. It's friendship founding and opportunity opening. It's guidance and it's preparation. It's giving you what you need to know for where you want to go. Above all, it's belonging. Belonging to a community, a family. Firm values at its heart and a beginning for your journey to start.